Former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh dies at the age of 92 at AIIMS in Delhi. Singh, who served as the UPA Prime Minister from 2004 to 2014, was hospitalized after a sudden loss of consciousness on 26th of December. National mourning has been declared for 7 days, with all government programs cancelled. His last rites will be conducted on Saturday with full state honours. Singh, the architect of India's economic liberalisation in 1991, was famous for his role in economic reforms and as finance minister under the P.V. Narasimha Rao government. He was also the governor of the Reserve Bank of India. Condolences have poured in from across the world, including from Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress leaders who remember his humility and contributions to the nation. Israel launched multiple strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen, including Sana'a airport, ports and power stations. Houthi media reported 6 dead in the attacks. Israel claimed these strikes were aimed at military infrastructure linked to the Iran-aligned Houthi movement. The attacks caused massive damage to the airport and ports, including the Hodeidah power station. The World Health Organization chief He said that he was at Sana'a airport when it was hit, but reported that he was unharmed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to continue striking Houthi targets. The UN and Hamas condemned the attacks, with the UN calling them alarming and Hamas slamming Israel's aggression. Meanwhile, in Gaza, Israeli airstrikes killed 45 people, including hospital staff and journalists. Syria's political landscape remains fraught with tensions following the arrest of a former military justice official and rising sectarian demonstrations. Syrian security forces detained Mohammed Kanjo Hassan, who is accused of issuing thousands of death sentences at the notorious Saidana prison. His arrest comes amid rising tensions in Syria, particularly with the Alawite community who were loyal to Assad. The demonstrations have erupted following the burning of a shrine in Aleppo, spreading fears of sectarian targeting. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, the de facto government, which has deployed reinforcements to restive cities and promised accountability. However, many of the demonstrators, they remain skeptical of the new government's ability to ensure safety and justice. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian will meet Russian President Vladimir Putin on January 17th to sign a bilateral cooperation agreement. According to Iranian media, the deal highlights strengthening ties between Tehran and Moscow despite global sanctions on both the countries. While Iran has been accused of supplying weapons to Russia for the Ukraine war, Tehran has repeatedly denied these allegations. The upcoming meeting follows Russian Deputy Prime Minister's visit to Tehran, where discussions centered on the Rasht-Astara railway. This railway is part of the International North-South Transport Corridor, a strategic project linking India, Iran, Russia and other countries to strengthen trade and connectivity in the region. An Azerbaijani Airlines plane crashed near the Kazakh city of Aktau, killing 38 of the 67 people on board. Officials believe a Russian surface-to-air missile, possibly fired by a Panzer-S system, may have downed the flight, which went off course before crashing. Aviation experts speculate it could have been accidentally shot down due to Ukrainian drone activity in the area. The Russian government has cautioned against making hypotheses until the investigation is complete. Azerbaijan mourned the victims with a nationwide moment of silence and flags at half-staff. 14 survivors arrived in Baku, with 7 taken to hospitals. The remaining survivors will stay in Kazakhstan for medical treatment. The probe into the crash is still underway. Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that Russia is striving to complete the conflict in Ukraine and warned about the possibility of using the new hypersonic missile Oreshnik if required. He mentioned that serial production of the missile has begun and some would be placed in Belarus. Putin also opened the door to Slovakia hosting peace talks between Russia and Ukraine after a recent meeting with Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico. Slovakia is a strong opponent of EU support for Ukraine, and it has faced criticism from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky due to its friendly tone towards Russia since Fico's return to power. Putin's comments about peace talks come as Russia continues to stress the possibility of using more powerful weapons in the conflict. Two sailors were killed in separate incidents in the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, first loss of life in the prestigious ocean race since 1998. Race organizers said in a statement on their website that both crew members died after they were hit by the sail boom, a horizontal pole which holds down the sail and swings depending on the direction of the wind. The police said that they were informed just before midnight that a crew member of one Sydney to Hobart entry was struck by a sail boom. Fellow crew members performed CPR, but the sailor could not be revived. A couple of hours later, a crew member on another vessel was reported to have also been struck by a sail boom and died. South Korea's opposition Democratic Party leader Lee Jae-myung said that the party will go ahead with a plan to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo as per the mandate of the people. The main opposition Democratic Party had threatened to impeach Han if he did not immediately appoint 3 justices to fill the existing vacancies at the court, which is trying to the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his December 3rd declaration of martial law. Richard D. Parsons, a long-time banking executive who took the helm of Time Warner during a troubled time for the communications company and who helped Citigroup navigate the financial crisis, died on Thursday at the age of 76. A prominent black businessman, Parsons also helped the NBA Clippers navigate a scandal over racism. Parsons was widely credited with the turnaround of Time Warner after its botched $165 billion merger with AOL. With Parsons as CEO, Time Warner slashed its debt by roughly half as it ushered in a new era of sustainable growth. The New York Times said that the cause of death was cancer, citing Ronald Lauder, a longtime friend of Parsons and chairman of the board of Estee Lauder. Following the most recent eruption of the Kilauea volcano on Hawaii's Big Island, satellite images show how lava has spread around the crater. The U.S. Geological Survey said in its volcano notice that the eruptions have paused with lava flows diminishing, but that a resumption in activity is possible in the coming few days. But not certain as of now. The volcano is an orange watch as some eruption-like volcanic gases remain. Peru's government declares an environmental emergency in a northern coastal area where state oil from Peru last weekend spilled a crude oil shipment into surrounding waters of the Pacific Ocean. The spill took place on December 21st as a vessel carried out pre-shipment maneuvers at a terminal of Peru's Talara refinery in northern Peru. Local officials have said that the spill has damaged coastal plants and animals such as crabs, while fishermen say that the spill has stopped them from working. A series of atmospheric rivers are responsible for severe weather in the form of strong winds, coastal flooding and heavy snowfall hitting the U.S. Pacific Northwest December 26th. Several weather advisories are in effect, including avalanche warnings. Holiday travel may be impacted by the severe weather, according to weather experts, and the conditions are expected to reduce after Sunday. Light rain lashed several parts of the Indian national capital on Friday morning as a layer of fog covered the city, resulting in reduced visibility. The IMD has predicted a thunderstorm with rain for Delhi on Friday and Saturday. With this, more showers are expected to drizzle over the city. Meanwhile, the air quality index in the city remained in the very poor category. According to the data of the Central Pollution Control Board, the AQI was recorded at 371 as of 7 a.m. Digi Yatra, India's contactless airport passenger processing platform, has crossed 9 million active users and sees 30,000 daily app downloads. The app uses face biometric technology to streamline air travel, starting with 3 airports and now covering 24 across the country. In 2024, it helped over 42 million journeys, gaining trust among passengers. The platform plans to add 4 more airports in early 2025 and expand language support to all 22 official languages by March next year. Digi Yatra also launched a privacy-focused campaign and aims to start international trials with e-passports by June 2025. Elon Musk's X has raised the price of its Premium Plus subscription plan in several markets, including the US. The new price is $22 a month, which earlier was $16, as a part of what he calls a broader strategy to increase creator payouts. The platform's revenue-sharing model was revamped in October, ensuring that creators are compensated based on content quality and engagement. Will not just add views. Current Premium Plus users will keep their rates until Jan 20th. But will this major price hike help Musk to increase creator payouts, or will the platform lose the premium subscribers? Apple has filed to join Google's upcoming antitrust trial. It aims to protect its $20 billion a year search engine partnership with Google. In court documents, Apple stressed it has no plans to build its own search engine and warned that Google may no longer be able to represent its interests due to the ongoing legal pressure. Apple argued that removing Google as the default search engine would harm consumers who overwhelmingly prefer it. The case could disrupt Google's dominance and force changes to its business model, including potential breakups. Japan's government on Friday approved a record budget for the next fiscal year. The country has ramped up spending on social welfare as the population ages and defense to tackle regional threats. Well, the billion-dollar budget for the year from April 2025, green-lighted by the cabinet, includes an 8.7 trillion yen in defense spending. It also includes social security spending of around 38.3 trillion yen, up from 37.7 trillion the previous year. The Defense Ministry said in a briefing document that Japan was facing its toughest and most complex security environment since World War II, repeating a warning from Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. But it updated key security and defense policies in 2022, outlining the challenge posed by China and committed to double its defense spending to the NATO standard of 2% of GDP by 2027. Chinese government bonds are primed for the best year in a decade. Local fund managers and strategists are predicting more gains for 2025, and they are set to reap a 9% total. That's the highest since 2014. Meanwhile, the nation's 10-year yields have plummeted 84 basis points since January, dropping to 1.71% on Thursday. The rally lost a bit of steam this week on worries over a surge in debt issuance. Chinese bonds have beaten major global peers this year as prolonged economic weakness and a slowdown in consumer spending drive, which bets for more monetary easing. Oil prices witnessed little change on Friday but were set for a weekly rise, and this comes amid optimism over economic stimulus efforts in China. The world's biggest oil importer, the World Bank, on Thursday raised its forecast for China's economic growth in 2024 and 2025. However, the bank warned that subdued household and business confidence, along with headwinds in the property sector, would keep weighing it down next year as well. Chinese officials have agreed to issue $411 billion worth of special treasury bonds next year. This comes as Beijing ramps up fiscal stimulus to revive a faltering economy. The latest weekly report on U.S. inventories from the American Petroleum Institute Industry Group showed crude stocks fell last week by 3.2 million barrels.